Hi, I'm Amber from Influencer Updates on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Spotify, Apple. One more thing, YouTube. Follow me on all of them, please. And tonight I am going to be updating you all on the last 2 weeks of influencer updates because I was away last week. I was unwell. So yeah, everyone is going to get 2 weeks of updates today. I've gone through my subscriber stories from the last 2 weeks and I've screenshot which stories were the biggest stories, like which ones got the most engagement. And that is where I'm going to start. And then of course, as always, I'm going to answer your questions. So if you could put them on the screen, I will get to them shortly. So the last 2 weeks, massive news story. Probably the biggest one of the last 2 weeks, I would say, is Veruca Salt has announced that she is married. So she mentioned that she met her boyfriend, Digi Premium is his Instagram. She has told us previously, maybe only a week or two ago, that she has a boyfriend, but she has now told us that she met him on the 28th of September and they got married in Vegas just 2 weeks later on the something of October. What would that be? The 13th of October. So yeah, it was very much a shotgun wedding. And she did fly her mum over from Australia to attend the wedding. So I did love that. And that makes it seem a lot more genuine to me rather than just the two of them being there with no friends or family. And yeah, this is great news for her. Like, everybody is so excited. Of course, everybody is concerned about the speed in which she got married, but at the same time, everybody hopes for the best for her. So let's see how that goes. She also did provide a fertility update. So she mentioned that earlier this year, she was over in America doing fertility treatment, which she had done a GoFundMe for previously and raised about 7,000 Australian dollars, I think it was, including a donation from Indy Clinton. But yeah, so she went over and she got the fertility treatment and unfortunately it did not work. She didn't say what treatment or anything that she got, but it did not work. And then she flew back to Australia. Then she mentioned that a rapper flew her out to New York because she's been in America a lot this year. So yeah, he flew her out to New York. I assume that means for sex, like she was single at the time. She then returned to Australia. Then the rapper offered to fly her out again. So she went and saw him, then decided it wasn't what she wants to do, and then decided, because she was already in America, she would spend some time in LA. And that is when she met her boyfriend. So yeah, what a happy ending for them. All right, next story. Harrison Boon, speaking of GoFundMe, so Veruca Salt did a GoFundMe last year for her fertility treatment. Harrison Boon is currently doing a GoFundMe to raise money to sue Abbie Chatfield for defamation. Now, this has raised $12,000 the last time I looked. $10,000 of that was from one person though. So about $2,000 from his followers, I suppose. And yeah, I personally think this is all just a marketing stunt. He is a bit of a rage baiter, and I think that this is all part of that. I don't believe he is actually going to sue Abbie Chatfield because I don't think he would have a case. So obviously she was sued for defamation by a normal person recently, and that normal person did win. So that was about $100,000 that they got, including that their legal fees covered. But Harrison Boon, this situation is very different. No matter what Abbie has said about him, I'm sure he has said equally as bad things, if not worse, potentially defamatory things, who knows. But he is a public figure. So the difference with the other person who sued Abbie is that they were a normal person who had been in her life previously, like they knew each other from school or something or from the same hometown, and they had a lot of people that knew both of them. He sent her a personal message, like a DM on Instagram, and then she published that message to her 300 and something thousand followers, knowing that they were then going to think negatively of him and it would affect his job prospects and things in his real life. And that is why he was successful. Whereas I don't think Harrison, he is his own worst enemy. Like, he's the one who's out here always talking badly about women, or he wouldn't say he's talking badly. He would say he's talking the truth, I suppose. So yeah, I think that the whole GoFundMe is just another marketing rage bait thing from Harrison. Another big story that has happened in the last 2 weeks is fitness mogul Sam Wood, of course, from The Bachelor. He is being pursued by the ATO for $7 million in unpaid taxes. Now, this was run by all of the nationwide news sources like the Herald Sun. And yeah, they have got evidence. I don't know how, but there's some sort of evidence that he hasn't paid his personal tax for the previous 3 financial years. I don't know how this would happen. I'm sure he's got lots of accountants that work for him. But yeah, I've worked in tax previously, but I just don't know how this would happen. I'm guessing he just hasn't lodged tax returns, or maybe he's gone back. Maybe what's happened, actually, I think this is probably what's happened, is that his accountant has gone back and lodged all the missing tax returns. Maybe a previous accountant had missed it and a new one's come on. They've lodged the tax returns and then worked out he's got $7 million in unpaid tax. It could be a lot less scandalous than it seems. It could be that, yes, he's got this $7 million of tax to pay, and maybe he's going to pay it. Maybe he's now on a payment plan. Maybe he's going to pay it in cash. He is a very wealthy person. But I mean, I don't imagine any smart person would have $7 million laying around in cash, because if you had that much money, you would invest it into things. So maybe he's just got to shuffle around a few investments and then we'll pay it. It may not be as scandalous as it seems. But yes, that is very strange from him, because he is such a wholesome brand sort of person. Watch this space on that one, although maybe the Herald Sun won't report if it's not very scandalous. Okay, the next story is that Kate Jones, her Instagram is Dedicated Lifestyle. She has announced that she is pregnant with her first child. So I had not heard any inkling of this at all. She is currently in America, or maybe she's now back from America and has just been to America, but yeah, so a lot of influencers would have known that she was pregnant because she was there for influencer events. They've all kept hush about it, which is great. And yeah, she's announced that she is in well into her second trimester, she said. But at the same time, she said she's due in April. So if you work backwards, it's now November. That sort of makes it seem like she's 3 or 4 months pregnant, which would still be first trimester. I'm not sure. But yeah, she is saying she's due in April. Whether that's the start or the end of April, we don't know. She's only saying the month at this point, as that is what most people do. I'm wondering if I've screenshot any other information on that one. No. She did say she's going to talk a bit about it and that it took longer to fall pregnant than what they had anticipated. She also mentioned there was some stuff she wasn't going to talk about. So maybe that was fertility treatment or something. I don't know. I'm just filling in gaps now, so I probably shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, she's shared a lot in a Q&A, and everybody is very, very happy for her. In case you can't picture who she is best friends with Brittney Saunders and All Right Hey. The three of them do a lot of things together. And she was recently in America with Sofa Dofa at the Amazon Creators event or something. Something to do with Amazon, which is a massive event for Australians to be at. I love that for them. In other news, another story is that Britt Hockley has interviewed Kim Kardashian. So as you may have seen, Kim Kardashian is in a new TV show called All's Fair. It's on Hulu, I believe, or one of the streaming services. And yeah, Brittany Hockley got to interview the whole cast, including Kim Kardashian. And yeah, she was dropping a lot of clues. Brittany was dropping a lot of clues in the lead up to this interview being released, saying that it's always been her dream to interview Kim Kardashian. She's probably the most famous person in the world, and she can't believe she's been chosen to interview her. And yeah, she was very excited about it and built up a lot of hype around it, which was exciting. I haven't listened to the interview, but I really should, because I do love Kim Kardashian. Okay, next story. This one is crazy, and yeah, it was probably one of my favourite stories in the last 2 weeks. So there's a TikToker called Elle Eastern Suburbs Mum. If you don't know her, you need to know her. She's a very, very fun person to follow. So it's Elle_Eastern Suburbs Mum on Instagram. She doesn't have many followers, and I don't know why, because yeah, she's just so interesting. I love her. And she has fallen out with her best friend. Her name is Carla Rose Brett. Carla Rose Brett. Yeah. She's fallen out with her. She was going to be a bridesmaid, and she recently went to Carla's hens party, and they have now fallen out. Elle is claiming that she paid for Carla's whole hens party and then was uninvited to the wedding via text because their values don't align. That is Elle's version of the story. So yeah, Elle's saying she paid for the whole hens party and then was uninvited to the wedding by text because their values don't align. Yep. So then Carla obviously posted a retaliation to that and wrote, "In case anyone is confused, here are my values. Love above all, especially money. Family is everything. Being faithful to your partner. Putting your children first. Integrity and kindness." Now this makes it seem very pointed at Elle that Carla believes that Elle does not embody those values. So reading between the lines, it makes it seem like she's accusing Elle of cheating on her husband, because being faithful to your partner was one of the points she made. And then something probably that she's using her partner for money because she's written love above all, especially money. Not sure, but Elle Eastern Suburbs Mum is very wealthy. If you follow her channels, you will see that she's always shopping at designer brand stores and, yeah, just splashing the cash. Let's just say that. Carla then went on to say that she paid for the accommodation herself, but yes, Elle did pay for the flights. So whether that's for the whole hens party or just for Carla, I'm not sure. But yeah, the update to that is that then Elle posted on her TikTok, it was very quickly deleted, a video of Carla at her own hens party with some naked man who was a stripper of some sort, fully like dancing on her naked. And then, yeah, that video was deleted. And now Elle's Instagram and TikTok seem to have been deleted or taken down, or I'm not really sure what the go is. I haven't checked today, but hopefully she's back online. I don't know if, yeah, the social media companies have deleted it because it's been reported a lot, or if Elle's just gone offline. I don't know what's happening there, but I'm very patiently awaiting an update. Okay, next story. Jules Robinson, she wore a candy striped dress to the Melbourne Cup. Oh no, it was maybe Oaks Day. No, it was the Melbourne Cup. And she got criticised saying, well, I'm sure it was by a small group of people, saying that she looks ridiculous and that the dress is too small. So this is the dress. It's easier if I just show you one here. This is the dress. I love the dress. I think the candy stripes is so fun. I just absolutely love it. It's a bit controversial that she's got like the silver headband, the silver bag and the silver shoes. I think that I'm not really sure if that matches, but at the same time, I love that it's something different. I honestly love this look because it's just so different and so fun. And I kind of get a little bit sick of a lot of people dressing the same at these events. So this is just something different. And I was like, cool, this looks great. But anyway, people are saying that her bust is busting, I suppose. That maybe the dress is too small around her bust. I'm not sure. But anyway, her response to this was that she was gifted the dress and she didn't actually get to try it on before the event. And I guess she just ordered her size that she would normally wear. Now she's saying here, apparently I looked ridiculous in that dress. My body was overanalyzed from my shoulders to my stomach by someone who said they were just trying to help. So it's, you know, when people send a DM saying, oh, you know, just trying to help, but that dress is actually too small for you. It's not helpful at all. She then continued, here's the thing. I didn't wear that dress to look smaller. I wore it because I loved it, because fashion should be about joy and fun. And I totally agree with her. I love that that was her response, and she's right. And people need to not care about her body. Like, it literally is nobody's business but hers. I find that quite funny. In other Melbourne Cup news, Judd wore this outfit. Oh, sorry, the ring light's really in the way. She wore this outfit, and whilst most people loved it, and of course Judd is probably one of the most looked at people at the horse racing, spring racing carnival, but a lot of people likened it to a very fancy flight attendant uniform. Emirates in particular got a lot of mentions. Also Qatar Airlines got a lot of mentions. But yeah, I mean, obviously she looks incredible because she always does. And again, I liked that it was an interesting outfit. It is maroon everything. Maroon pillbox hat, maroon structured dress, maroon Bottega clutch, maroon gloves, maroon stockings, maroon pumps. Yeah, it is just maroon everything. Even... no, her Rolex watch is not maroon. Okay, she kind of broke the theme with that one. Maybe she doesn't have a maroon one. All right, next story is Skye and Tori. They are back friends again. So Skye Wheatley and Tori De Jong, they unfollowed each other on social media recently when Skye, it was before she announced that her and Lockie were rocky. It was sort of in the process of that. Like Skye and Tori were going live a bit, and Tori was making a whole heap of TikToks about ex-boyfriends and legal feuds and things. And yeah, they unfollowed each other. So they must have had a little bit of a tiff. And then in one of Skye's podcasts, she mentioned, you know, having a bit of a argument with one of her friends. And Tori has now confirmed that they are friends again and they are following each other on social media again. So that is good news. Tori also has confirmed that she has broken up with her partner, who is the father of 3 of her 4 kids. She said that the 4 kids are still living at their house. And he is a FIFO worker, fly in, fly out. He flies out and does his work for a few weeks and then comes home for a stint, I suppose they call it. So yeah, she's saying the 4 children still live at the house. She lives at the house when he is working. So that might be for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And then when he comes back for a week or two, she goes and stays with a friend and he stays at the house with the kids. So yeah, they are broken up. She also said that she is scared shitless. I think she means financially. And she mentioned it's because she has three kids. Oh, no, sorry. She has 4 kids and a small business. So she can't get a job. But you only get one life. So, yeah, she doesn't want to stay with him just for financial reasons. But, yeah, that is really sad news. But a lot of people had been messaging me lately suspecting it. So, yeah, I actually really like that she just came online and she just said what had happened. I wish a lot more influencers would do that because it honestly is better in the long run because it stops the speculation. But then at the same time, I suppose she's going to get a whole heap of messages about it and that would make it really hard. But yeah, that is her truth. In other news, Outspoken, the podcast, they have announced in the last 2 weeks that they are starting a second podcast called The Mums Group. I am very excited about this. I am a mum myself. I do have a 3 and 5-year-old daughter, and the 3 triplets, the Outspoken Torba triplets, they all have 3 babies who are all within exactly a year. I think that 2 of the babies, their birthdays are 1 day apart, but 1 year later. So like 364 days later or something. So yeah, they've got 3 babies and there's 3 of them. And I'm really looking forward to that podcast and what they're going to be talking about. And yeah, I think I will relate to it a lot. And I absolutely love their influencer podcast as well, because I obviously relate to that a lot. But yeah, I just love them. And we're all pretty much the same age. I'm 37. I think they're 36 maybe. But yeah, so that is coming up. I'm looking forward to that. Another big story that happened in the last fortnight is Cartia Mallan. She posted some cryptic stories saying that she is in hospital and she's looking for an emergency dentist in London if anybody has any contacts or anything. And then a few days later, she went on to say that she had waited in hospital for 7 hours to get scans for concussion and heart checks, and then they finally stitched up her lip. And so she showed a photo of her bloody lip, and her 2 front teeth were severely chipped, like the bottom half was chipped off them. And she later came on social media in the last 2 weeks and spoke about the story about how it happened. And yeah, she was saying that she had been out for dinner, I believe with her mum as well, and a friend. And she said that she woke up in the night and she was like all hot and sweaty and nauseous. So she jumped up to go to the bathroom. And as she got to the bathroom door, she doesn't remember anything after that because she fainted and fell forward and her 2 front teeth whacked onto the toilet bowl and it knocked them out. And then she fell to the ground and started vomiting. And luckily she had a friend in the room with her who then put her on her side so that she wouldn't choke on her vomit. And then obviously she came to consciousness and decided that they were going to go to the hospital. It was at that point, apparently it was 2:30 in the morning at this point, Cartia decided to call her mum and tell her, this has just happened, I'm going to go to hospital. And while she was on the phone to her mum, now this is super freaky, while she was on the phone to her mum telling her what had just happened, her mum said, "Oh gosh, I feel nauseous," and then fell over and whacked her face on the toilet bowl as well, but didn't lose her teeth. She did get a blood lip as well, like Cartia, but didn't lose her teeth. And then I don't know if her mum ended up going to hospital as well. I think she did, to go and meet Cartia there because she wanted to look after her daughter. But yeah, how freaky is that they both fell over and I think they'd both been out for dinner, both felt nauseous, and then both hit their face on the toilet bowl. That is honestly the craziest story. Oh, there's just so many good stories from the last 2 weeks. Another really good one that's come up a lot is Davies. She posted a retaliation TikTok. So I don't know if she mentioned it in passing or if she showed footage of her daughter Isla, but her daughter is 15 months old and she has turned her rear-facing car seat forward. So Isla is now facing forward in her car seat. Now, this is legal in Victoria, at least. I don't know about other states. You are allowed to forward face a child from the age of 6 months old, but that doesn't mean that it is, just because it's legal doesn't mean that it is the right thing to do. So a 6-month-old doesn't even necessarily have full control of their neck. So to be sitting them forward in a car seat is just really inappropriate in that way. But the thing with the safety of car seats is that the safety of the forward facing and rear facing seat, it only matters if you're in an accident. Now, we've just got to hope that these people aren't in accidents, because if a 15-month-old is facing forward in an accident, the chances of something really bad happening, I don't even want to say what could happen. If you want to know, you can Google it. The chance of something really bad happening is significantly higher than if they were rear facing in their car seat. But as I said, that's only if they're in an accident. So yeah, she did get a whole heap of criticism about forward facing her daughter. People were saying that they were trying to educate her, and I'm sure a lot of them were, but I'm sure a lot of them were also shaming her, and that is what Em was saying in her video. She was saying that she is being mum shamed for having her 15-month-old daughter forward facing in a car seat, and also she's being shamed for feeding her daughter whole blueberries. Now, Em's response to this is that her daughter meets the minimum height requirements for a forward-facing car seat, and also that Baby Bunting had told her that it was safe. Now, yes, it is, as I said, it is legal, but that doesn't mean that it is safe. And Baby Bunting, I don't think they really know much, because I know that they once sold my mother-in-law, they once sold her a car seat for a 3-year-old that was a booster seat, and legally you're not even allowed to use them until you're 4 years old. So I don't think that Baby Bunting is the most reliable source for car seat safety. But yeah, she does meet the minimum height requirements apparently. And then her response to the whole blueberries is that Em says that mums need to, oh no, sorry, I've skipped a bit there. The response to that is that her daughter Isla has 13 teeth, so that she will be perfectly fine. Unfortunately, teeth is not the problem, or is not the solution for the whole blueberries argument. The reason why children shouldn't eat whole blueberries is because they can be inhaled, and they are a hard ball if they are not crushed or cut. And if you get a hard ball, a blueberry size, lodged in a child's throat, it can choke them to death. And that is why it is not recommended to feed a 15-month-old baby a whole blueberry. And again, let's just hope for the best that Isla does chew all of her blueberries, and that would be great. I am not meaning, like when I'm using Em in these examples, I am just using her as an example. This is not just exclusive to Em Davies. A lot of people feed their kids whole blueberries. They're willing to take on that risk, and a lot of people forward face their children in car seats. And yes, as I said, we've just got to hope for the best that there's not an accident. But yes, that was it was a very polarizing video from her, I guess. A lot of people have a lot of thoughts about children's safety. Okay, I'll get a few more stories done. How long have I been? 25 minutes. All right, another interesting story from the last 2 weeks is the Daily Telegraph published a list of Australia's top 250 young entrepreneurs. Now, this list really annoyed me, how it wasn't numbered. It wasn't really, I don't know. I just didn't like the way that it was set up on the website. You sort of just had to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It wasn't, maybe it was in sort of segments or something, but I just found the website very hard to use. But anyway, I came across quite a few interesting influencers' faces in this list, including Brittney Saunders from Fate the Label. And the thing that I found very interesting about this one is that she has disclosed her annual revenue. She has said before that she is a 10-figure company, which would mean she's earning, her revenue is at least $10 million. Hang on, 8-figure company. So that's like 8 numbers, which is in the $10 million plus revenue per year. So she has now disclosed that her annual revenue is $30 million a year, which is massive and so incredible for any Australian brand, let alone Brittney Saunders, who we all feel like we can relate to. Like, this is just so, so cool. I love it. It is all self-funded, her Fate the Label. She doesn't have investors. I don't even think she has business mentors. Maybe she does and just doesn't talk about it, but she is just incredible. That is really cool to hear. And also because she still lives like such a humble, relatable lifestyle, as do a lot of these rich influencers. Well, they normally portray a relatable lifestyle, but like I feel Brittney does seem the most relatable. Tammy Hembrow, her annual revenue was disclosed for both Tammy Fit and Sarsky collection, and that is $50 million a year. massive numbers. And then in contrast, Adam Sullivan from Evidence-Based Training and his new business Cunnies, which is creatine gummies, his annual revenue is 15 million Australian dollars. Now that is half of Brittney Saunders' Fate the Label. And it's just really interesting the difference in the way they portray themselves online. Like Adam Sullivan he's acting like Adrian Patelli. He's gifting money to people here, there and everywhere. He is living in $10 million properties. He is absolutely splashing the cash. And yet Brittney's business, which is a $30 million turnover, so double, she lives such a humble lifestyle. Like it's just really interesting to see the difference in their personal brand and their marketing of themselves. But at the same time, Adam Sullivan would have a lot less costs. So his evidence-based training, it is a digital product. So every time somebody subscribes or buys a program or a challenge or whatever, it's not necessarily, he doesn't necessarily have a product cost associated with that. He does obviously have all the tech background and everything that he'd need to pay and marketing and a whole heap of costs. But when you contrast that to Fate the Label by Brittney Saunders, she obviously has the cost of the clothing that she's selling. So yeah, I can see that the profit is very different to the turnover. But yeah, they are both doing amazing, incredible things with their businesses. All right, there's so many more stories that I've been, like amazing stories that I've posted to subscribers over the last 2 weeks, but I don't have time to get through them all. So I'm going to get through the questions because it's always so fun answering everyone's questions, seeing what everyone has to say. So let's see. Warrior for Animals are saying, hey, did you see that Tammy Hembrow got major backlash for attending the Melbourne Cup Carnival? Some videos of a horse bleeding got hundreds of thousands of views with the main comment being a tag of Tammy. No, I didn't see that, but I don't understand why Tammy is getting criticised when there's literally hundreds of thousands of people that go to it. I don't believe that Tammy posted anything about the horses or the races event. She just posted fashion things, which I've noticed a lot of influencers are doing. They're not actually posting anything at the event. Oh, they might be posting things inside the marquees, but it's really interesting. Sorry, to see the way that influencers don't talk about the horse racing. Like they talk about, spring carnival and the cup. Like they don't actually mention what these events are. And I'm wondering if that's their way of sort of separating themselves from the animal cruelty aspect of the events. I know that, a few years ago, there was this whole movement of Nup to the Cup and a lot of influencers weren't going to these events, but obviously it's back in full force and everybody seems to be going again. Even Dorit Kemsley from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she was flown over for the event. I imagine that's like a marketing cost for the Cup, and they would pay her to be there and pay all her costs, and that way it's an American audience that are getting exposure to the event. But yeah, I can see why they are getting criticised, definitely, for associating themselves with horse racing, but I don't believe the issue is exclusive to Tammy Hembrow. What else have we got? Oh, my sister's saying double episode, yay. Well, yeah, I'm trying to fit 2 weeks worth of information into one live. Go for double time. I don't know. An hour and 20 minutes would be a bit long. Just too long for all of you, I mean. Oh, people have asked me to talk about the Elle Eastern Suburbs Mum. So yes, I spoke about that one. Okay, Warrior for Animals is now adding, unfortunately, the chief vet at Racing Victoria has come forward and said the failures of Victoria Racing, this was ahead of the Melbourne Cup. Oh, let me just see my microphone. Yeah, that's working. That's really good, actually, that vets are actually consulting with Victoria Racing. I hope that would result in some sort of improvement in the future, potentially. But yeah, I didn't realise. I suppose that makes sense that would be happening. People are saying this is back in relation to Harrison Boon suing Abbie Chatfield for defamation. This person is saying that Abbie deserves litigation. She's been getting away with it for far too long. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, she deserves it if it's true, like the case where it was and that person did win the defamation case. But I don't believe that anybody deserves unnecessary litigation. And also, it depends if these people are having personal conversations with her behind the scenes, because I just don't think litigation is the first step for conflict resolution. This person's asking, is Abbie Chatfield's mum still on The Golden Bachelor, or has she gone home? She has gone home. I believe that the whole Abbie Chatfield's mum being on The Bachelor was like a big marketing thing for The Golden Bachelor. They did have Abbie on the show, and I think that that was just a way to get Abbie promoting it and get Abbie's audience watching it. And yeah, she has gone home. Is anyone going to watch Big Brother? Good question. It starts Sunday night. I'm definitely going to watch the first episode. I think I've spoken about this before, but the new host, Mel Tracina, when I was on Deal or No Deal earlier this year, back in January, I was in the audience and Mel Tracina filmed an episode. So I actually got to see her do her Deal or No Deal episode. And yeah, that was the first time I actually heard of Mel, and now I see her everywhere. But yeah, that's just a fun fact. So I'm going to watch because I really want to see her host, and I just want to see the new castmates. I want to make sure that they are normal people. I'm sure they'll have connections to influencers and things, but I know that a few influencers have been promoting it, like Letitia Clark and Seb Laz. They've been promoting the upcoming season of Big Brother by pretending that they're going to be on the show, but what they're actually doing is just filming in the house to promote the show, and people are falling for it. I know that Love Island do the same thing, like Anastasia Kingsnorth. Every year she's pretending that she's going on Love Island, but really it's just a marketing stunt. Do you think Molly Cook has had a fox eye lift? Yes, I did post about that. I posted about it on TikTok. So yes, she has confirmed that she had a fox eye lift. Oh, she didn't call it a fox eye lift though. She called it something else. Can't remember, but I'm sure that's what she meant. Zana Pelly has a new partner. Yes, so that was in the mainstream media in the last few days. She confirmed that at one of the horse racing events. Who is pregnant? That is Kate Jones, Dedicated Lifestyle. Also, Brooke Hogan has announced that she's pregnant with her second child. Oh, with Brooke Hogan, I did know that she was pregnant. I had heard whispers in the background. Oh yeah, where's Pam? That's weird. Normally she messages me if she's not going to make it. People, or Bollywood, she's saying, love seeing all the racing fashion. Same. I think that Rosalia Russian, I mean, obviously she's always been a real fashion girly, but I've really enjoyed looking at her fashion looks. Everyone always enjoys Beck Judd, including me. I feel like she's always just so glamorous, and yeah, I just love seeing those looks, even though they're totally unrelatable and I would never wear anything like that, and I would never even know where to buy clothes like that. I still think that I like to look at that stuff. It's like how I like watching the Kardashians and Selling Sunset. It's because they're so unrelatable. That is actually why I enjoy them. Funny. Yeah, I agree. There were a lot of pillbox hats at the races. I think that Lana Wilkinson, she styled Beck Judd in the flight attendant look. And I think that Lana Wilkinson wore one herself. So I think that she's styled quite a lot of people, and I feel like she's really making that a trend. I'm just happy it's not those thick black headbands. I remember a few years ago that was a trend. Yeah, I think Lana Wilkinson started that trend as well, and I did not like it. The thick black fabric headbands. People were suspecting that maybe Beck Judd was trying to make it a trend to cover like facelift scarring, but I don't know if that's true. Oh, okay. Back to M. Davies in the car seat thing. This person's saying that they're allowed to forward face from 12 months old, not 6 months old. That would make a lot more sense. Maybe if you are interested in car seat safety, don't take my word for anything I've said tonight, because I don't know. I'm just trying to remember from back. Yeah, anyway, I don't know. It's always changing as well, probably. Yeah, and people are saying, why did M. Davies bother showing the car seat? That's what I mean. I don't know if she did, or if it might have just been in the background of one of her videos. People do notice that sort of thing. How old is the child? 15 months old. This person saying Baby Bunting installed their car seat completely wrong and it was done by a teenager. That is super concerning. This is what I mean, like this M. Davies car seat thing, it's really popped off. Like everybody is really interested in this one. yeah, a lot of people saying they wouldn't listen to like baby bunting stuff. This person, okay, this is a really interesting comment. They're saying, well, she is her parent. Why would you risk her life? And I agree. As somebody who, well, I think I know about car seat safety, but we've just proven that I don't. As someone who I think I know about car seat safety, I wouldn't risk my child's life. But just because that's something that concerns me doesn't mean it concerns everybody. And we need to understand that, yes, that's scary for us. Like, that to me is really scary that she's 15 months old and facing forward. But it's also not my business what other mums do with their children and their car seats. And yeah, everybody takes different risks. It's like how some people might speed 10 kilometers if they're driving on the highway, and that to other people might just be like, whoa, I would never do that. You're putting your whole family at risk. Like, it's just, people have different attitudes to different risks in life. That's the way I'm looking at this. This person's saying it's not about the height of the child, it's about the weight that's more important. Kids can be rear-facing until they are 4. Not sure why people are rushing. I agree. I actually find it a lot easier to get my child into the rear-facing seat because I can just sort of like pop her in and then she just like sinks in. Whereas my older child, she has to like climb into the middle seat because it's too high for her to climb from the side of the car. So she has to climb into the middle seat and then climb onto her normal seat. And yeah, I just think rear-facing is way better. And it's so much more comfy because they get to lay down. I would love to rear face in a car, honestly. This person's saying that I'm the mum police. Maybe they don't mean me specifically, but maybe all the commenters. But yeah. This person's saying if she doesn't want the criticism, she should just not post about it. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if she did post about it, but also a lot of the time influencers, they post about this stuff for engagement. Like, it might have been that she posted about it and she knew what she was doing, and it could just be rage baiting, you know. Oh, this person is asking, speaking about Brittney Saunders, I wonder what happened to Staple, the swimwear brand that she had. Their online store is non-existent, however, no mention about whether they closed that or not. Yes, so Brittney Saunders has talked about this a few times. So she is in a legal dispute with Mink Pink, who own some sort of clothing brand that's also got the word Staple in it, and that is why she's no longer allowed to trade under the name Staple Swimwear. She does. I think she said that she still has stock, but she needs to wait until this legal dispute is over, and then she can like ramp it all up again. Personally, I don't understand why she doesn't just release swimwear under the name Fate, and then she would avoid this whole thing anyway. But she obviously has her reasons, and she's a very smart businesswoman. Obviously, she's turning over $30 million a year, so she would know more than me. Did you hear Lucy Jackson mention on her podcast that she had $1 million in her bank account? No, I'm going to screenshot that. I imagine she was joking. That would be pretty crazy. And also, she mentioned something about being in debt from going over to Europe with Abbie Chatfield and Bella Clinton recently. So, oh gosh, if she had $1 million in her bank account, that would be random that she would be in debt from a holiday. Oh, someone's asking about Letitia Clark going to the Big Brother house. I have addressed that. No, it is just a marketing thing that she's doing. This person's saying that the corporate sponsors are getting fewer and fewer at the Cup each year. I just love the fashion. They are. I believe David Jones and Maya, they used to be huge with all this like fashions on the field and stuff, and they've really brought back their corporate sponsorship. Will Tammy Hembrow talk about her marriage breakdown on Emily's new podcast? Yeah, so Emily Hembrow has got a new podcast. She's released the first episode, which is an interview with Tammy and Amy. I'm dying to listen to it. Hopefully I'll have time this weekend, and I don't believe she will talk about her marriage breakdown. I think that there's too much controversial reasons why they split up, maybe, I suppose you could say. I think that there's been a lot of different things that go down, and it's never a clear-cut thing, is it? So, yeah, I just don't think she's going to talk about it, and that would just open her up for criticism, and the more she gives, the more people are going to want in terms of an explanation. So I think that she's best just to stop talking about it like she has. Oh, yeah, and this person's saying that she knows that Matt can answer back on his own podcast, so she has to be very careful. True. Oh, yeah, this person's asking, why is Indy Clinton overseas? She flew to the US for work. Yeah, so she went to fly to LA, I think it is, for work, and the flight got cancelled. So then she worked with Qantas and they found her a new flight, but she realised that by the time she gets to LA, she's actually going to miss the event, which would absolutely suck because I imagine it's some epic event, but she hasn't actually said what it is. But when she is going all the way to LA for an event, I imagine it's something huge, like Kylie Jenner sprinter event or Fenty Beauty event or something, like something huge. This person's asking, is slick hair still a thing? I haven't seen it around in the supermarket like I used to. Do you think there are too many copycats? It's definitely still a thing. I see it in the supermarket. I know that they released some new product recently. I follow that brand quite closely because Mia Plessic, the owner, she is also from Geelong, as am I. I currently live here. And I do know her. Like if I saw her in the street, I'd stop and say hi, sort of thing. That's about all I know of her. But yeah, they're always releasing new products. She's expanded. She's in Sephora in the United Arab Emirates. And yeah, I think that the brand is quite big. Definitely. It's huge. Oh, interestingly, she wasn't in those Daily Telegraph reports. I wonder what her annual turnover would be. Probably something massive as well. I also found it interesting that Iris Schmidt from the Quick Flick, she wasn't in those reports. So yeah, I'm wondering how they get into them. Maybe they can refuse to be featured. I noticed that there was Riley Hempson in them and also the Shameless Girls, but they wrote undisclosed for their annual revenue, meaning they don't want to tell that information publicly. So that's why I didn't post them, because that's boring to me. I wanted to know numbers. This person saying, Elodie Pullen is selling her little Airbnb as I heard she is struggling with overcommitting financially. That's honestly fair enough. She does have a lot going on, and to be managing that and probably the mortgage repayments on it and the maintenance and everything, I can see why she would want to sell that. She has finally hard launched, I suppose, her boyfriend Brock. He posted a photo of the two of them kissing on his story. It has been a 7-month soft launch though, so it's been 7 months of her posting little bits of him in photos and him posting stuff of her. But I think that at this stage, 7 months of a soft launch constitutes a hard launch. This person saying, Ina Pali's newest campaign, sad to be in honour of her sister, such a great area to advocate for. I haven't seen their new campaign. I'll have to have a look at that one. I'll screenshot that one too. Sorry, I just locked my phone and totally logged out of the live. Have you ever had any influencers send you legal threats? Yes, that was a long time ago now. I covered it extensively at the time, but Karina Irby did send me a statement of concern, I believe it's called, that was sent to my house, and somebody showed up at my door and knocked and served me the legal papers. So yes, that definitely happened. Whoa, I've got a lot of questions to get through here. Have you read Chloe Fisher's new book? Very boring, and whilst there were some difficulties with fertility, sure, it screams privilege. No, I knew that the book was coming out, but I didn't know it actually had. I definitely want to read it though. And yeah, that is sort of exactly what I would expect the book to be about. She has mentioned she's going to talk about her fertility struggles that she's never mentioned online before. And yeah, she definitely does have a very financially, at least, privileged life. So that's probably the life she's talking about. But also, it is what it is. Like, at least she's not pretending not to be financially privileged, or maybe she is. I don't know. I haven't read it. But yeah, I do want to read that one. Nadia Bartel opened a new Henny store in Armidale too. Yes, Henny is just popping off, isn't it? It is huge. It is such a big brand now. I see it everywhere. I've even started listening to Stylish podcast a bit, and they talk about Henny all the time. They interviewed Sammy Robinson recently, and Sammy Robinson is going to be opening up a new store. So she's got one in Bondi, and she's considering Sorrento, which is near Melbourne, as a Melbourne location, or she mentioned a shop in Brisbane, I think. I can't remember where they were, but yeah, she is expanding her brand as well, which is very cool. Why can I not stand Alidy's new boyfriend? This person asks. He just seems like a child. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter what we think of him. I agree. He does seem very loose, I suppose I would put it. But also I think that is good for Alidy. I think that she likes to just have a lot of fun, and to be with somebody who wants to have a lot of fun, that probably really suits her. Sorry, I'm just trying to read the comments that people will be interested in the most. Someone's asked if I'm talking about Spanian. No, I am not. I did talk about him last live though, or maybe the one before. This person's saying the only time they hear about Tammy now is over some scandal. There's honestly constantly scandals with Tammy Hembrow, and that's what I love about her. She's always keeping us very interested. Speaking of hearing about Tammy Hembrow, the Financial Review, she made the Young Rich list. This is different to the Daily Telegraph. They've said, the Financial Review have said that her wealth is $58 million. And I hated the write-up that they wrote about her. So they've written that she's known for her huge social media following and fitness app. She's made headlines in 2025 for her personal life. Then they go on to say, this is a business, like the Financial Review, this is a business publication. And they're talking about her net worth of $58 million. And then they go on to say, she shared the news of her divorce from husband of 7 months, Matt Sikowski, with her 17 million Instagram followers in June. Since then, she has been spotted with star AFL player Bailey Smith, but after weeks of speculation, rumours of a romance have cooled. And I just absolutely hated that. I thought that's got nothing to do with her wealth, her business acumen. Like, it's got nothing to do with anything. I was just really grossed out by that. And I do not believe that they would write that about a man. That's why it annoyed me so much. God, I sound like Laura Henshaw, don't I? Oh my gosh. Funny. But yeah, that's how I feel. I'm raging. This person is saying, regarding Lucy Jackson, saying that she has $1 million in her bank account, it was the podcast about the icks. She said she gave herself the ick because she showed a boy her bank account that had $1 million. Wow. Maybe it was a business bank account. But yeah, if you're showing that to a guy on a first date, that is definitely an ick. Oh, this person's added she had $1 million a long time ago when they had a big windfall. She clarified that she now has nowhere near that. Wow, this sounds so interesting. I love this stuff. I need to listen to the podcast episode. Oh, Lucy said it was after selling a bunch of diaries ages ago and she doesn't have that now. Wow, I wonder how many diaries she sold. I remember they're about $70 a pop. $1 million divided by 70 is a lot of diaries though. Good on her. That's so cool. She did have an app at one point as well. I did subscribe to that for a month, but then I found Google Calendar free and easier to use, so I did unsubscribe in the end. Oh, this Warrior for Animals has added here that David Jones and Maya are no longer saying spring racing fashion, and they are simply saying spring fashion. Yes, this is what I was saying earlier, that influencers are not even mentioning the word horse. Kylie Minogue is doing a Christmas album. Wow. All right, hey, we'll be very impressed by that. This person saying they think Nadia Bartel is the most stylishly dressed influencer. Well, yeah, she'd want to be, being that she owns a fashion brand. Oh, I saw her at Chadstone Shopping Centre the other day. I forgot to mention this on my live 2 weeks ago, but I was up at Chadstone Shopping Centre at the Barbie Cafe, and next to the Barbie Cafe is it's like Time Zone, but it's called something else. Archie Brothers, it's called. And yeah, I walked past and Nadia Bartel was out the front of Archie Brothers with her boys, and I was just staring at her, and she looked at me and smiled, and I don't know if she was like, oh, why does that face look familiar? Or if she was like, why is that person staring at me so much? But I was with my daughter and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I really wanted to say hi to her, but she was with her children. So I was like, oh, no, obviously not appropriate. But yeah, she was as stunning in real life as she is online. And yeah, I just love her. Also, my sister saw Riley Hempson in Japan recently. My sister was in Osaka and she just walked past Riley and was like, oh, that's Riley Hempson. That's pretty cool. Do you think Adam Sullivan's baby name will be unique or common? I feel like it's going to be unique because his partner's name is Avalon, which is definitely a unique name. The suburb that I live next to is actually called Avalon, so that's really random to me. But I also live in a suburb called Lara, which is also a girl's name, so maybe their baby's name will be Lara. Imagine that. No, I think it will be a common name. I mean, a unique name. Gosh, there's a lot of people fighting in the comments tonight, guys. Honestly, this is why I turn the comments off on a lot of the posts that I do, the public posts. I turn them off because people just start fighting with each other. Sometimes it's not even that they're saying bad things about the influencer. And I just think, I can't moderate this. Like, everyone stop fighting. What do you think Ollie and Nikki will name their child? Any hunches? I hadn't actually thought about it, but surely it will be, I think it will be a little bit unique, but not crazy unique. But I don't think it'll be like Tommy or Billy or one of those like common names. Although, what was Lucy's dog's name? Bobby. And then her Nikki's dog's name's Pie. Don't know. I'm excited to see what the name will be. We don't even know the gender yet. People are laughing about everyone fighting. Yeah, and they're saying literally DM each other. Come on, guys. We just don't need to fight. All right, well, I have got to the end of the questions. If I didn't answer your question, please send me a DM. I love talking about influencers. I love talking to all of you. It's so fun. Thank you all for joining me on the live tonight. Hopefully I covered a topic that you would be interested in because there were so many good ones the last 2 weeks. And if you haven't subscribed, you need to subscribe because then you would know all of these stories already. Plus you'd get pictures, plus you would get more information, plus you'd get a whole heap of extra stories in between. So thank you for listening and I'll see you all next week. Bye.